Welcome back to Nail Babe Pod, a podcast dedicated to interviewing the nail babes of the nail world. What's a nail babe, you're asking? Well, I'm Abe, the nail babe, so I'm a prime example, of course. But nail babe is a state of mind. A nail babe is somebody chasing their dreams, being creative, and sharing their passions with the world. If you don't know me, I'm Abe, a full-time nail polish content creator, influencer, and nail podcaster. This week, my nail babe is Elizabeth from The Greater Good, an iconic nail babe. I know Elizabeth from her nail videos on Instagram, but you'll hear she does much more than that. Hand lettering, illustration, murals, and she just released her adult coloring book, available anywhere you get your books, and linked down below. And Elizabeth is helping me give away 2 copies of her coloring book, one on the Instagram post and another right on the pod. So make sure you're following The Greater Good on Instagram, YouTube Shorts. We get into her success on YouTube Shorts. And of course, subscribe and follow Nail Babe Pod wherever you get your podcast, and leave me a review to be entered to win the coloring book. And of course, 5 stars. More details in the description box. And without any further ado, oil your cuticles and lotion your hands, and welcome Elizabeth to the pod. Okay, well, I'm so excited to welcome Elizabeth from The Greater Good. Hello.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. You all know her from her beautiful Instagram. I know her from, it was like a tea collab.
The Pure Leaf one.
Pure Leaf tea.
That was one of my first nail art sponsored videos, because it was funny, we were talking earlier and you're like, I didn't even know you did lettering. And I was like,
yeah.
Oops, I should post more of that.
Well, that's what I'm like, I found you from that Pure Leaf Tea nail art post, which was amazing. I was like, wait, who is this? Like, how do I not know this person? Immediately obsessed. And then, like, going back, you like do murals, you were doing hand lettering, as you said. We get some drink compilations in your stories.
Oh, I do whatever I want. It's great.
Mm-hmm. And people are loving it.
I hope so.
They are. You were literally killing the game. And I'm obsessed because you have such a broad niche, right? You have so many different areas, which I don't know if you think of it as different areas in your mind, or you're just kind of like, I'm living my best life. I'm filming beautifully. I'm sharing my, I'm
wearing my love sleeves over my hands. Yeah.
Like, what are your areas?
Well, I try to like envelope it in a broad way, but also break it into different categories. Like I'm just an artist. I think I'm a creative person, and that shows up in different ways. I think that because I did art and I do art. I say I did. I still do though. I still do it.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't even mention the coloring book.
Yeah, we can talk about that later. But I do that, and I think it led into me doing nail art a lot because I'm an introvert. I'm a shy person. I want to do things, but I also don't want to be on camera all the time. So it's like, let me post art. My face was not on my account for the longest time. It's just the hands. And I like to paint my nails. I've always like kind of enjoyed it. So I always had my nails in every post. And eventually I got enough comments on that. And because I have creative tendencies, I wanted to get more into being more creative on my nails. And I think it kind of naturally like opened up that category for me, if that makes sense. Like it was just a natural progression, and I'm not switching over completely. It's just like part of what I do underneath the creative umbrella, as it were.
For sure. I think that is like, it is helpful to like have separate projects, at least like other creative outlets. I know like in university, like I was played in the symphony, and like that was always like, like we would like, I'd be like grinding in the studio and be like, sorry, I have to leave. Like I have rehearsal. And then just like go there and like shut off your mind and just like focus on this one thing. And like that was always when like the best ideas would come. Like you could just like switch over. It's like still creative, but you don't have to be like in it 24/7.
And I think that doing multiple things like that helps you not get in your head so much about one thing and doing only that one thing. Like nail art just kind of started out, this is like a break for me from my work. And like now it's just become part of my work. But that's okay. I decided to monetize that eventually because I wanted to. But you also don't have to do that with everything. You have to give yourself breaks from stuff. Otherwise, you're going to burn out. Like you said, also, what did you play in the symphony? I'm curious. I love music.
I played the double bass.
Ooh, that's so fun.
Yes.
I used to play fiddle and
Oh,
I say fiddle specifically because
yeah.
I was in like a teenage bluegrass band for like a hot second.
Ooh, I see
It
that for
was
you, honestly.
we did like one or two events. It's one of the most embarrassing like times of my life. But that being said, we can cut that out. But like I also played
No, it's in forever. They would like convince me to like play in like folk music because like they wanted a bass player, but I'm just
yeah,
like I don't know like what they would just like start playing things. It's like ingrained, like, yeah, like Suzuki
yeah,
method and all these things.
yep,
Like I was like I don't know. Like, can you just tell me what key we are in? Like,
yeah.
I'm like, give me sheet music and I can play whatever you want. But like, I don't know what's going on right now.
Yeah, I have like the opposite problem. If I was asked to follow sheet music, then I would do terribly. But like if
Oh,
you could just go by ear, like you could just, vibe a little bit. That's so funny. But
it's
I'm sure you
so
can play
hard.
like way better pieces. And I'm just like,
But honestly, the like nee is funner. Like that, like gets people going. Sometimes I'm like, I play double bass. And they're like, play me something, and I'm like, I don't like orchestral the bass section of like Mahler or whatever. It's like no one wants to hear that. No, it was fun though because it was what you said, having that secondary mode to turn your brain. It's still creative, so you're like
Mhm,
accessing those pieces, but it's not like
mhm.
taking everything out of you.
Yeah, just doing the one thing all the time. We're curious creatures. We get bored.
Yeah. That's I like that. It's kind of like what I say. I'm like, I'm a creator, I'm a designer. Like that's just kind of like the umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
But like my social media has, I mean, I started specifically on nail, so it just kind of is that, which now
Yeah,
with the podcast I'm trying to break out.
which is awesome. And I love that you're doing this because I feel like we have our own little, like, I feel very welcomed into the nail community on Instagram. So thank you for that. And I feel like we have, like, there's a certain people, like, this is the community. So I feel like that's showing up more on the podcast now. And it's cool because we get to talk, kind of in person. And
Yeah.
it's bringing the community together more. And it's great because there's very much a spirit of community over competition. And like you're sharing links to the lights you use, and I'm like, I use this app for editing, and it's just
Mm.
we're all here and there's room for everybody, and I love just the vibe.
Me too. That's what like I'm also so happy with like everyone being so open and like sharing all the stuff on the podcast because there is like I wonder like what did okay. Should we do our Spark Notes version of like how you
Oh,
got into I guess it can be how you got into like social media
hmm,
because I'm wondering like going off the like communities like what community you start in and like how that
hmm.
compares. So I guess let's start with the Spark Notes version of getting into social media posting.
Mm. Well, more embarrassing stuff. Um, Started posting on Instagram because I joined a nail MLM for like 6 months when I was 17 because I
We
got
love
sucked by
that.
the discount and I didn't know better. And I did one party at someone's house and cried the whole way home. I was like, I'm an introvert. Why am I doing this? I hate this
Oh,
actually.
yeah.
So got out of that, started a job that was just kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing. I went to culinary school. I'm
Oh,
doing wedding cakes on the side. Sorry, this is longer than Spark Notes. I need to trim it down.
no, that's okay.
Um,
There's a
doing
lot of
wedding
good juice in here.
okay, my whole life story. Was doing wedding cakes on the side. Loved that. Wanted to work for myself though, and like not for a wedding venue, but like couldn't pay for a facility. Couldn't do it at my house
Mm.
because I have a cat. So literally, just like I'm like, what am I doing? What is happening at my life? I'm gonna get a job to like just get me through the day. So I worked at a smoothie shop. Got into the hobby of hand lettering. Opened an Etsy shop as one did in like 2016 to sell like those hand lettered campfire mugs. I
Mm.
was a part of that. I'm so sorry. A couple up there. And eventually that supported me after where I could like leave the smoothie shop and do social media and sell retail products. And that kind of got into, we're talking like niches and broadening
Mm.
niches. I did one lettering stuff like the longest time, like the brush lettering. We all did it. And then I kind of forced myself to get out of that. I was like, I need to do more. What is next? This is eventually gonna die down. Like what do I want to do? How am I staying creative, constantly learning, always trying to improve? So then I got into different styles of lettering. And that kind of turned into more client work, both like on social media and off social media.
Oh.
I've just kind of been, I don't know, following the breadcrumbs on the trail or something. It's like
Mm.
when something picks up, I like try to take notice. And is this what I want to do for a while? Is this fun for me? Is this, just trying to get into what I want to be doing every day, if that makes sense. I don't know if that was a good conclusion, but
No, I think that is honestly similar to like what I feel like my life has been of like it honestly just feels like things have just worked out. Like I just happened to
Mhm,
like fall into this and like but it's like no, like I am working towards like something I doing things that I enjoy and it's like if
mhm,
you're putting that out there, you're like continuing to work towards that, like you're going to find your path in those avenues. Like it's not it feels just natural because it's just like, oh, it just happened to like whoever like emailed me today and just wanted me to do a thing. But like, no, I've been posting for like 3 years, like
mhm.
consistently every single day. Like that is
Yeah.
I like that you posted recently about like your like 2017 nail tutorial or like something where like showing people that it's like I didn't just start yesterday. Like we I feel like we all like see your millions of views on YouTube, excuse me.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on.
But like we're all like, I have to get into YouTube shorts. Like I should do that. And it's like, I mean, yes, but also it's like we think there's like, oh yeah, you just post in like million views. It's like, no. Like there's
Yeah.
a little more to it and like posting consistently and getting into that. But I don't know, it's just like we no one sees like the backstory of like how you even got here. They just like, oh, it just happened. Like now I can do this full time.
Not everyone can start off like doing content creation full time or like doing what they want to do full
Yeah.
time. And I think that's completely okay. I have a friend that talks about this all the time, but he's like, let your job be your job and don't put so much pressure on your spark of creativity to
Mm,
be everything and do everything for you. You have to coax it a little bit, make it a little more of a flame and let it grow with you as you're figuring stuff out. Like so many people have 5-year plans or like do whatever. And like we're talking about, it's like, I'm just figuring it out as I go. And that's okay.
yeah. I like that take the pressure off. Now that I've like kind of transitioned to like thinking of myself as like full time, it
Yeah.
does feel stressful and like now I'm like
Hmm.
every partnership I'm like looking at it like more intensely. When I was in school, I would just be like, well, no, like this doesn't work out. Like that's fine. Like I don't need this to
Hmm.
survive. So it's like easier when there's less pressure on this creativity to like support yourself. You're like, no, I'm just having fun painting my nails, like showing my passion, like filming the process. But now this is full
Exactly.
time. It's like every video, like it just it's a little bit different. So I need to remind myself, like, not to take it too seriously.
Yeah. And this helps me, maybe it'll help too, but I have to find a good amount of not like stress that I'm putting on myself, but every opportunity is a learning experience. Like
Mm,
I'll have a little moment of panic whenever I get a partnership and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. It's like I've never painted my nails before in my life. I have no idea what to do. They're expecting so much from me. I should just quit and just go back to like working at a coffee shop or smoothie cup. Like I'm so stressed out. I have no idea what I'm doing. And then eventually I'll sketch some ideas and like figure some stuff out. But I try to put good pressure on myself and less bad pressure, like the I'm the worst at this,
mm,
they're not gonna like it, it's all gonna like go badly, versus, there's a reason they hired me. I like what I do. How can I show that through this video? Like what is like reminding myself like what's the purpose of this video, writing down any bullet points they gave me and just try to communicate me and them as well, if that makes sense. Like bring our shared visions together. And if you like don't know where to start with stuff, I'm like, okay, there's a reason they hired me. So sometimes I'll like go watch old videos of mine and like get ideas. So
I feel like that is like most brands like don't want you to do a completely new video for them. Like
mhm.
they're like, I hired you for like a simple swatch. Like I don't know what you were doing with like hanging upside. Like I don't know. It's like, what are you doing?
It's like painting my nails on a boat challenge or like
Yeah,
something.
you're like, I've never done that before. That was like OPI, like when they had their like nail treatments, they like asked me to do a video, and I was like, oh, I have to do something crazy. Like I don't know what, and it was just like, no, just like I was talking to Larissa, and she was just like, no,
Mhm.
they just paint your nails, like just talk about it. Like literally, they just want you to show it. Like that is
Yeah.
what,
Like
that's
do
the
what you
goal.
do best. And that kind of like goes into something that I've talked about before, like with the art community. I feel like I can like draw a lot of parallels because they're similar because a lot of we're all chronically online, right?
Hmm.
Um, and is sharing the kind of stuff that you want to be paid to make.
Yes.
Because then, like you said, the clients see that and then they come in and go, hey, can you make us a video? Sometimes they'll reference a specific video, which is really helpful to have a starting point. Or sometimes they'll have like a very specific brief, which I also love because I don't know, sometimes I like full creative freedom, but also sometimes to me that reads it's a client that's like, I'll know it when I see it, which is
Oh,
never a good thing typically. So if they have like a little bit of direction, then you have a starting point and you can kind of go off of that.
yeah. I feel
But
like that's definitely yeah. It's like you want to. show them what you can do and you want to do.
Exactly. And that can get into a little bit of the territory where people are like, well, don't like do free work and don't do such and such. But if you don't show a certain amount of like what you can do and what you want to make, one, you're not practicing and you're not improving. And two, not everyone is as visual as creative types as well. And you can like describe something to a client all day long. But if they don't see something that they're looking for, one, I mean, they're probably not going to hire you. So you have to kind of balance doing not like free promotional work, but working on maybe like your style and like figuring things out. It's like, okay, for the longest time, I didn't like feel like I knew how to shape my nails. So I just did that. And I watched so many tutorials and I would like try different ones and do different things. And now I feel like I'm good at that. So I can post tutorials and things. I'm going off on a lot of rabbit trails.
No,
I'm hoping this is making sense.
No, it definitely makes sense because you can't just like either I'm thinking of like film directors. Like they
Yeah.
like you can't just like pop in and be like, I will direct a feature, like I will direct Marvel. It's like who what no. Like like even just like making films like on your phone, like that shows like your vision, like how you can solve those problems. And then I mean I feel like I'm into like the movie industry. So I'm like, be a PA or like all these things and like work your way up. But that's the same thing. Like you need to practice your craft, like you said, and like learn what you like.
Yeah, and I feel like the difference with this is like no one's guiding you. It's not like there's a foreseeable ladder. You have to figure out like where you want to start and how you're going to do it and getting into it like before you're ready, before you have the lighting. Something I've said again in the art community and in the nail community, it's like do what you can with what you have.
Yeah.
So I'm not really posting 10-minute YouTube videos right now because one, that's not something that could be on my schedule. It's not, I mean, filming horizontally is completely different.
Yeah.
With the framing and the composition. And then you have to think about, I'm really big into like the storytelling. And it's like, why would someone watch this video? What am I like trying to communicate? Am I entertaining? Am I educating? How am I like getting people interested in what I have to say using hooks and stuff like that? So I'm doing not nothing, but I'm doing like a little something. It's like, what can you reasonably do as opposed to like, I can't do YouTube right now. What can you do? Can you post one short a month? Then do that because that's consistency and people gravitate towards and really respect consistency. So it's like, what can you do that is good consistently? And then maybe bring it up a little bit. Because if you start high and then it fails, no. But if you like gradually like work your way into it, people will follow you through that.
I think that's also, I mean, obviously we're talking for people who specifically are looking to like build a career out of content creation. Like if you're just like, I think for most people and for me, it was just like, yeah, I'll just post something here. And then like slowly you like develop this new thinking about posting. Right. But I did want to literally, I feel like what you were saying, like literally is like all my bullet points. I'm like storyteller, hook, like, no, but I feel like you are a storyteller. Like that is, I feel like it really is. Cause I feel like that is, anything you post literally is entertaining. So it's like I could watch you do anything that like the way the way you construct the story, like you are thinking of that and like how it is entertaining, right? So I don't know, I'm interested in how you like approach a video or like how you look at finding the story in something of like painting your nails or like hand lettering. Obviously, like the stories can be different. A lot of my stories, I feel like, are just like, this is inspiration to paint your nails blue or something. Like that can be the story. But if you want to go deeper into like these YouTube shorts, I think you have a lot of chapters, maybe, will you say, in your story.
And thank you for saying that. That's really encouraging because that's something I try to do well. Like I try to keep in mind, why is someone going to watch this video? Because it's interesting to me, right? Because I'm the one that put it together. I know all the behind the scenes. I like painting my nails, but what is going to make someone stay till the end or at least past the first 3 seconds, right? Because they say you have 3 seconds to hook somebody, which is absolutely insane. But if you keep something like that in mind and put interesting visuals or something like funny and grabby, and I follow, I believe it's the Film Booth on YouTube, following people outside of your niche for techniques that you can use that other creators, you're not like copying what they do. There's a technique it just is what it is. And you can use it in different ways depending like on your style. So when I'm editing, I'll try to think of the story or like the concept or like what's the point of the video before I start shooting so that I can get all my shots for that. Right. And sometimes I'll even like write the voiceover before and I'll, on the notes app on my phone, I'll have it organized by like, this is the title and this is like what it is. A lot of times I actually like write them like when I'm falling asleep at night and my brain has like, it's just because that's what it does, of course. I try to write in a way that like I would actually talk to somebody, but also again, it's like what is happening that is interesting and that is fun. And it doesn't always have to be chronological, which is something I feel like I've changed up a little bit. It's like both the visual and like what you're saying in the beginning can hook someone. I've used stuff like, okay, fine, I'll admit it. You're like, what? What was she gonna admit?
What is she gonna admit?
Or stuff like, your comment made me do it.
I'm gonna say.
And it also like involves the audience too, because then they know that, oh, I'm listening to you. I'm taking like requests from you. I'm involved, and building a community is another whole thing like that we could talk about. But
it is interesting that you start with the story. I guess that makes sense. Obviously, like at least a lot of the videos I see are like focused on the story. Like that is like the arc, like your voiceover. Whereas like I focus more on Instagram, and that's kind of like where I came, which is like I feel like it's more just like pretty picture. Like that's like
very different audience.
I feel like you are the queen of YouTube Shorts at the moment. I will claim it for you.
I can't take a compliment. But I feel like adjusting your style a little bit, but also it's like you don't have to exactly like do what I do on YouTube. You can storytell in your own way if you like don't like using the voiceovers.
Well, that's what, okay. I wanted to like, well, yes, I want all your tips and tricks, but I was like, I want to hear about how you see the platforms differently. Like I'm kind of like Instagram, right, is like the pretty picture, TikTok, because I saw on your story that you actually edit at least different types of music per platform. And I don't know if you're doing different like types of edits for different platforms. So I'm wondering like what you see the different platforms are and like your different approaches. Platform.
For me personally, and it could just be this is the community I've kind of like curated on each platform. Instagram was where I started, so it's very much people that have been with me for a long time. Like these are my friends. They kind of know I'm like doing whatever. It's where I'm typically like the most vulnerable, the most open, the most, because again, like they've been with me since 2014, 2015. I'm old.
I think that's what I think Instagram has the most community.
Yes. That feels
the most platforms,
social, like the discussions, and very much like, girl, you're doing such a good job. Anything you put out onto this planet, we will love. We're here for you. That's kind of the energy is besties for Instagram. TikTok is chaos, but it can be in a really fun way. You cannot take yourself too seriously or they will rip you apart. So I'm just like, I'm one of the kids. How do you fellow kids? We're just having a good time. I don't know what y'all are doing. I don't know what I'm doing either. That's
I see that for TikTok.
Yeah, and
if you put more, that's like the more work you put into a TikTok, the less views it gets. I feel like I'm just like throw something up there. Like
honestly, sometimes I know what works, and I think sometimes I know it doesn't. But their algorithm is not super consistent for me.
Yeah.
Also, this is a fun story. I had a video get mass reported because people thought it was an undisclosed ad, and it wasn't taken down. TikTok had me like confirm it, but I'm like, I disclose every single one of my ads properly. You can look, you can check, have the receipts.
Who was reporting this? Like random followers?
Yeah, I guess, or people that saw it. It was the Harry Styles nail polish video that did like 5 million views. Again, because it's not me, it's Harry Styles. But
I saw that one. But like that did not look like an ad. Like it was not like, I guess like that's probably the good thing about an ad if it doesn't look like an ad. But
yeah,
but I'm just like any like product. I'm like, how are you not supposed to like promote the product?
Yeah, I've done tons of like review videos for products because that's something that's kind of fun for me. It's a tax write-off, first of all, so I can buy nail polish. It's full business expenses. I tell my accountant because I am my accountant. And then, and like, you don't have to do product reviews, but as nail polish people, when we do something like that, sometimes for free for a brand, that can get you on their radar. It can build credibility with your community. If you're like, I'm saying good and bad things potentially about this brand, and I'm not on their payroll, so that then if eventually you get to the affiliate program, or if you get a sponsored post from them, it fits in naturally and seamlessly with your content. Because you build the trust, because you're like, listen, nobody's paying me to say anything. I'm saying what I want to say. And even if you're still honest in paid content, people don't always like read it as that. I'm honest no matter what. That's just like the nature of what it is. So like, oh, you have a stake in this game, so therefore you're trying to make money with this. You're probably lying to me. So
Going back to like the idea of like making free ads, but it's like I'm just sharing what I like.
yeah, and what I had.
Yeah, like it's like I have all this nail polish. Like even before I was like sent nail polish, like I still had like 100 bottles.
Oh yeah,
Like
I bought so many, like almost every Holo Taco collection. I had the
yeah.
first collection that she came out, and I threw the box away like an idiot.
What?
I know.
You're like,
I'm
I don't
so
need
kind of
this.
mad about that. Well, I kept it for a while, and then I think like we were moving, and it didn't make sense for storage, and I wasn't like a nail girly at the time, so I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I bought this for the polish, not the collection box. I might have given it away, but I was like, I didn't know it'd become a thing, right?
I literally had the rainbow collection in my cart. And then I was like, no, it's too much money. I can't. And then like 10 minutes later, I was like, I'll do it. And then it was gone.
Which
I couldn't
one?
get it. The
Like the
OG
original?
rainbow. Yeah. They like sold out in like 10 minutes because of
Oh, and
COVID.
the dark rainbow one too. Oh,
Mm.
that box.
Luckily, I was on the PR list at the time, so I got it.
Woo!
But I'm still mad
Oh,
I didn't get the OG rainbow.
the regrets. I'm mad I didn't get the tea cremes box.
Mm.
It's like $180
I
on
got it.
Etsy.
I
I was
bought it.
looking.
I was like,
Oh,
not again. I will buy this one.
the FOMO kicks in.
Yeah. I have it like on my shelf with all my boxes. That one
Man.
is iconic, honestly.
Oh yeah, they're all so good.
Well, I'm interested, how do you do a lot of sponsored like UGC for like art brand? Like what does the field look like for like more of the art side? Is it higher paid outside of nails?
I think that still depends on the size of your art account and what
Mm,
your community is interested in.
okay.
Last year was a good year. I got to do 5 sponsored posts with Michaels. And that was usually like, we're trying
I
to
love
promote,
Michaels.
we forever my favorite. They're the best. They have a huge budget because they're
Ooh.
Michaels.
Does Michaels sell nail
And
polish? I could put regular
no,
paint on my nail.
acrylic paint. But they, if you're into like crafts, like DIY
Mm.
of any kind at all, they're just super sweet to work with, very very creative freedom. They're like, hey, we're trying to do spring crafts with botanicals, do a craft. Like I can handle that.
Yeah.
And that I actually got connected with them through an agency,
Okay.
Aspire, which is sometimes the middle people in between you and the brand is a really good thing. Sometimes they're just like trying to get a cut, but I've found a couple different, I guess it's an agency, or it's like almost like a marketplace where you can like brands, or you can see this brand has a campaign coming up. Would you like to apply? Why are you a good fit? Write us a little mini essay, show us what you can do. And that's where the whole posting the kind of things you want to get hired for comes in. So
What is it called? Aspire?
yeah, I can say it's like aspire.iq. I think I
Okay.
can send you links, or we can put them
Yeah.
in the description box or
Yeah, I'll
something
link
if
it
you
down
want.
below.
Yeah. And different ones have different brands as well. Like I just
Okay.
got an email about Mavely or something last night, and they have like Adidas and Chamberlain coffee.
And
And
you've had success through that.
I have, yeah, it's
Oh,
not, it took a little bit. And again, I think that's because my platforms were growing and I was still figuring out like what I want to do. And I haven't gotten hired by Michaels this year, but they also spent a lot of money on me last year. I'm not expecting to do that all the time consistently.
mm.
You know what I mean? But I know I have a good relationship with them because they've never had any like complaints about what I do, and everything's performed well because I've tried to keep it within, like one of the things they wanted an upcycle video. So I was trying to bring like illustration and lettering to that. So I cut up a doormat and painted a gingerbread house on it.
Oh, I remember this.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
you know, which was super fun and like very doable. So I don't remember what the point of what we were talking was about. I'm so sorry. My brain. Where did
No,
we
but
start?
the difference between like partnerships outside of nails and in nails.
Oh yeah. Oh, like price wise.
I guess so. Or just like that experience. This chairs.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it depends on what you're into and what you're doing like with art. Like murals are high paying gigs. They're not really on social media. I can make content with that. I can put that in my portfolio, but it's also like not an easy thing. So
It's a lot
because
of work.
it's so much work physically, I'm gonna have to chop off my nails because, you know, I'm opening paint cans and assembling scaffolding,
Mm.
and like I'm on a lift in my little construction outfit. It's not like those two things do not nails and murals like don't mesh well. That's fine. I'm gonna make a series cutting all my nails off so we can grow them back together. I have like a whole
That'll do
plan.
well. Yeah.
I hope so. Yeah, I think it just depends on what you're into. Murals pay really well. They're really physically demanding. It could require like a lot of travel, et cetera, et cetera. Bullet journaling is huge. So you could get
Mm.
Archer and Olive pays for sponsored content. You can like be on a creative team. There's a lot of options. You could be an affiliate with them. You could like work for them on like a low key basis, or you could actually be on their team, something like that. So
How do
it
you
all depends.
see your, like, when you do, like, because you have a lot of different niches, right? Like,
Mhm.
do you find your audience, there are like certain people that follow you for like nails, certain people that follow you for like bullet journaling or lettering? And
Mhm.
how do you like, because like I think at least for my audience and like people probably listening to the podcast, like we're probably all in the nail community and
Mhm.
like 90% of our posts are nail polish.
Mhm.
But like I'm wondering how, if you have advice for like trying to break out of that or like trying to maybe show a different side to our audiences without like, I
Yeah.
don't know, losing everybody.
No, I get what you mean. And I've worried about posting more nail polish content. I actually have lost followers, and part of that could
Oh,
be
really?
I haven't been posting as much consistent. I had like a bullet journal boom on my account.
Oh, okay.
I think during the panini when we were all locked inside and we couldn't do a lot. I needed another creative outlet. So someone told me to start bullet journaling. A lot of people had recommended it to me, and I try to really like, listen to, because they know me pretty well. Like, hey, you should try this thing. I'm like, oh, I'll look into it. Cool, it could be fun. But I wanted to find a way to merge them together because I just did lettering posts, the quotes, the whole
Mm.
thing. So I was like, how can I do bullet journaling and make it make sense with lettering and illustration and stuff? And I wanted to get more into illustration because I wasn't doing it at the time. I didn't think I could do it because I hadn't tried. And I thought about was like, what if I do a different letter style or slash illustrative page as like the cover page for the month? So I'm practicing, and it's something different that people can look forward to. Like, it's good for me, like, and it's good for them. It'll challenge myself, but also I can it makes sense to use that to step my way into the community. Be like, hi, can I hang out with you guys?
Is
So
that
that's
seat
I just
open?
yeah, I tried to like figure out a bridge between the two that made sense for me and for my people.
I
And
think that makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah. To like find those like overlap, the Venn diagram of like the things, how
yeah.
you can take one thing and bring it into another. Which I
Hmm.
guess like for nails, I'm still like, I mean, I guess the podcast for me like is about nails, but it's like a slightly different
Hmm.
thing. So, I mean, I guess it is like art, design, creative. I'm like thinking
Yeah,
for other people too, like there's a lot that goes into like painting a nail that's not just like actually about the nail.
exactly. It's like you're pulling back the curtain. You're sort of, I feel like you could really position yourself as, the behind the scenes kind of guide, industry like expert interviewer. We're spilling the secrets, things you don't know
Mm.
about the nail community, like the view from the inside, kind of, as it were, as opposed to someone who's just like watching our videos and scrolling. I
Yeah.
had I have a lot of ideas. I love brainstorming content stuff. So
I'm here for it.
but this makes so much sense. If you want to do podcasting, did it start you wanted to do podcasting, or you're like, hey, I'm in the nail community, a podcast is something we're kind of missing?
That I think it was more like I
Hmm.
was in the nail community. I just like painted my nails. It like blew up, and I just kept doing it. I love filmmaking. Even like before, I was like making films. I feel like my like nails for me is more like my way into making content. Like it's just an easy
Mm.
thing to like film, but I
Yeah,
enjoy the process of like lighting and like doing new things and like editing. I like, even though like sometimes I don't like go crazy. I'm just like, here's the same thing over and over again. But like I
yeah.
still enjoy that process. Whereas
Oh
like
yeah.
where I'm like nails, like sometimes I'm like, I don't really like nails anymore. Like I just like the nail polish. Like it's just like I'm like nail polish, like I haven't bought any in like the only time I bought nail polish was just this week. The
Hmm.
like Death Valley colored pencil nails.
Ooh,
Which like I was like, okay, yeah, no, like
I have to have those.
yeah, like she's doing something different. But like
Yeah,
any other nail polish, I'm like, I don't need that. Like it's more about the video that's fun for me or like the partnership.
yeah.
Anyway. But yeah, I was like, we don't really have a podcast, and I want to like show my personality, like actually become more than just the nails, right? Because I feel like people
Hmm.
don't know me that well, other than just like this one thumbnail that.
Right. It's
I
like their little
post every
profile
day.
picture.
Yeah, like they don't know me. So I do want to like hear. I feel like we were going into like the different social media platforms. We
Oh
stopped
yeah.
before YouTube.
Oh yeah. That's to me, it's giving. We were talking about the different energies on the different
Yeah.
platforms. I was really scared to start it because I know people are the
Mm.
meanest on
Oh,
YouTube.
really? I feel like TikTok's pretty mean.
They are, but they're kids.
Okay, that's true.
It's younger and they'll just like say stuff and whatever. But I've had comments on YouTube like you are trying so hard to be pretty, but you are so ugly. Stuff that's like completely out of
Which,
pocket. Whatever. Like on TikTok, people are they can rip into you, but a lot of times it's deserved or it's like silly goofy.
I guess
But
that's true.
yeah, YouTube is something else.
It's these
Um,
millennials that are they're
these that
mad that
are
you get to
they're bitter, they're angry, they've been on the internet for
yeah,
forever and they want to burn it down. I say that
honestly.
I'm like a younger millennial, zillennial kind of like I could hang out with both crowds,
I feel
but
like same.
also I feel young when I hang out with older millennials.
Yeah, I guess I'm technically Gen Z, but like I don't I
Hmm.
feel like my thing is like I love watching YouTube like outside of
Yeah.
which is weird because I'm like this I love this platform, but like why am I not posting there?
Hmm. It's a whole different thing.
It is a whole different thing. That's the thing. It's kind of like scary. Which also I'm like, why am I on Instagram? I'm like, Instagram I feel like is millennial, like old. But like I love watching TikTok, but like do I post a lot of TikToks? No. Because I don't really like watch the nail TikTok world.
Hmm.
So sometimes it feels hard to like know what's happening and like what to do.
Absolutely. And there's different players like in each one too, and different people that have like better footholds or
Mm.
I say like better footholds. They they
They
have
have very strong niche.
yes.
They
And they
defined
do
their
they
yeah.
found their people love what they do and they're like blowing up because of this one particular thing that they do or video style that they post.
So how did you start posting on YouTube? Because you do YouTube shorts specifically.
Right. Which that is what I wanted to do it for a long time. I've filmed a couple long form videos that have never seen the light of day because I just haven't gotten into the editing. And those
Okay.
were art focused. One was a mural that I did 2 years ago. It's still
Oh.
not edited. It happens. It's fine. It'll
Editing is the silent killer.
yeah, it is. And
Yeah.
with longer form videos, I'm used to doing short ones. This is
Same.
kind of a backtrack, but I actually, when TikTok was before TikTok started to blow up, during the panini, I
The panorama.
don't wish to get demonetized. So I like the little guidelines warning. They contacted me and asked me to post like it was like 30 videos.
TikTok contacted you? The TikTok. Mr.
Yeah,
TikTok.
they were Mr. TikTok himself. They were transitioning from being musically. This was when I
Mm.
think it was 2019. So I kind of
No
lucked
one
in.
had heard of TikTok before.
Nobody was on it. It was dancing kids challenges, whatever. And they were like, we want to fill up our art niche basically in this kind of category. So I think it was like $4,000 for, I don't know, was it 30 videos? That was another thing. But they had me, it was a set amount of videos for that much money. And that was the biggest contract I'd seen at the time. And I was like, yes, I'll
Just
do that.
post whatever video.
And they were cool with whatever. So I did like easy, like 15-second, like I colored in a letter. It was, you know what I mean? It was really, really easy at the time. So that's when I started practicing short form content. So I already had a little bit of an audience on there when it blew up in 2020.
Because before, when you were doing lettering, it was mostly photos on Instagram.
Yes, Instagram didn't have
Okay. Oh,
or
right.
form or anything.
They stole that from TikTok.
Yes. Exactly. Like they stole stories from Snapchat.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not talking about that. We get banned from Instagram the next day because we dare to say anything.
Okay. So then TikTok is like, hi, we are TikTok. We would like you. And you're like, I will do TikTok. And then
So,
that blew up and you're like, I'm already here.
and the reach has changed a lot dramatically in the past couple years. I think it's because of the quantity of people on there, but the style has changed. But if you were on TikTok in 2020, to me, that feels like the YouTube Shorts energy right now.
Oh.
With TikTok, it seems that very unpolished content, just like very raw, like not curated, is what does well now.
On
Because,
TikTok.
like, when it started, it was like, this is synced with the music and the lighting and the da-da-da-da-da, as opposed to now it's, story times and voiceovers and the news that's happening, the media's not telling you about, like all that kind of, that kind of thing, which I love and I'm here for. That means that my style of stuff isn't doing as well unless it's very interesting, grabby, voiceover, story time, Harry Styles nail polish, that has done well, but it's more hit or miss, where as YouTube Shorts feels like early TikTok days, people are enjoying both the story time, because that's, a long time YouTube standard, right?
Yeah.
And then also edited videos with the lighting and it's synced to the music, because you can have the copyrighted music on there and monetize on YouTube Shorts with copyrighted music. It's not a lot, but it's more than TikTok or Instagram will pay you, and you can't use copyrighted music in sponsored content. So it's like,
I'm trying not to be like, I need to do YouTube. I want to do YouTube. I want to do it. I think it does sound fun. I love the platform.
You posted some.
Yeah, they're like 2 years old. That I was just like, here's the same like one swatch. I honestly should probably get rid of some of those because I feel like they're my old videos and I don't like it anymore.
But I reposted a lot of my old videos.
Okay. You have put like a lot of tips for YouTube Shorts in your story highlights, so people should go look at that. I don't know if there are like some main points that you think is like, if you're gonna do this, like here are the things you really should be focusing on. Obviously having like beautiful content, posting consistently, but are there other things that you think people need to know?
And this is something like I'm still learning, so I'm like not trying to position myself as an expert or anything. I've been doing YouTube Shorts for like 6 months consistently.
Okay.
So,
what's your schedule?
My schedule is Tuesdays and Fridays, and that is what I started with. And to get into that, I pulled up like my old library, and I say old from like last year or whatever, and posted things, because of like that way, if I don't have something to post, I'll post an old video.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely repost stuff. Maybe just not from 2 years ago.
Yeah, it depends. Like if it's so different that it looks jarring, then maybe don't, like I wouldn't post like a 2019 videos with the filters and those TikTok fonts that aren't there anymore, that kind of stuff. I don't post anything with watermarks, but I feel like that's a kind of a given on, they don't like the platforms to or whatever.
Do you re-edit videos specifically for YouTube?
Sometimes, yes, when we were talking about like matching the energy of each platform, sometimes I'll try to make something that just feels like very me and like good, and like I could post this on all of them. Like it kind of like makes sense for all of them. Sometimes I'll post like TikTok allows longer videos, so I'll have like a longer edit of it, but sometimes I'll just post the same thing on all of them. But
you're not like completely changing the like story.
Yeah.
You're just kind of tweaking the like thing, shortening like music or like beat and
a little bit of stuff. Yeah. Like for YouTube, I might pick like a different trending song. So I'll upload it without the background music or something. And I'm like, okay, this song is like doing well on YouTube, or this song I know is doing well on TikTok. So I know it'll pop up on YouTube soon in a couple weeks. So I'm going to get ahead of that trend and use it. So when the sound's like popping off, my video is already there. It's getting recommended. So you're kind of, if you're on TikTok, you can be a little bit ahead of the trends, especially like we know on Reels, right? But also kind of like on YouTube Shorts.
Okay. That's a good tip.
And I just try to do like all the things that they give me. Like I put things in a playlist to encourage watch time.
Okay.
I fill out the description box. I have a pinned comment with information. I'll post in the community tab with a link and engage regularly there. It's kind of the wall or the feed. You know what I mean? That's a really good place to, I run polls. I get a lot of, I get more likes on my nail photos in the community tab than on Instagram posts. It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
And kind of sus.
And you have similar, or you almost, how many subscribers do you have?
Like 325,000.
Okay. Yeah.
Stupid.
For 6 months.
It's absolutely stupid.
Yeah. I don't like to talk about numbers because like it really doesn't matter, but like it is like crazy impressive.
Like it shows the possibility of, because shorts are available now. The thing that stopped me from getting on YouTube is I'm not into like long form content. I'm like not good at it, so I never posted. But shorts is like a small window in. So and they're really promoting that right now. I think they were hoping that the TikTok ban would go through, but that's, to me, it just shows that anyone can do it, like no matter what your niche is. I actually had a friend that had been telling me for forever, she's like, get on YouTube, get on YouTube. I finally did it, and I'm so glad that I did. And even if you're starting with just posting the stuff you already have, just start. It can take time to get traction. Like for the video itself, like Instagram was kind of like it blows up and then it goes, "Ooh." YouTube kind of feels like the opposite. Like it can consistently go over time. Or I've had videos that sat there for like 3 months and all of a sudden they popped off.
I think that was
Why?
like when I did it. It was like nothing, nothing, nothing. It was
Mhm.
like 40,000 views, and I was like, "This is just what is like going on here?"
It's
Are you
different.
just
So
doing nail content on YouTube? I don't know if I've seen other stuff on there yet.
yeah, mostly just that because that is
Okay.
what is doing really well. I'm not kind of doing the opposite of Instagram. Where it's like I had nail stuff. I'm slowly integrating art with it because I also have an audience and it like kind of makes sense. It's like, oh, by the way, I also do this thing. Nail art does better. I
Mm.
have, I have stuff. I do murals sometimes for fun, whatever.
I do also want to talk about the coloring book,
Oh yeah.
which hopefully I'll put a like an intro at the beginning that'll go over everything.
Yeah.
But this is super exciting. I have been following your posts. It's coming out to this Tuesday,
Yeah.
September
It's,
5th.
so by the time this is out, it's probably already out.
It'll
So
be out
probably go get it on Amazon and let me know what you think.
and available on like all the major places.
Target, Walmart, Amazon, indie bookstores. I've got all the links on my website. It's available internationally.
That's
So
exciting. So how did that come about? Like were you approached? Like how did you and like what is this process? Like I've been seeing your like iPad drawings, but how was that
yeah.
process and like working on something so much behind the scenes, right? Versus like the instant gratitude of social media. Like how did that?
And that can be really hard too, especially when you're pouring all your energy into something else that's a big
Mhm.
project like that you don't have. That's why I've been posting less or like just doing nails because that takes less time than, conceptualizing some illustrations and letterings and posting and mini
Yeah.
blogging and captions and etc. That's something that just came about, like we were talking about, kind of like naturally fell into that when I was doing bullet journaling. So it's like I did more styles of lettering. And then because I was bullet journaling, I got more into illustration. And because of that, I think, I mean, I never posted coloring pages or anything like that, but I do the digital illustration. So they contacted me and they were like, hey, we think you should do a coloring book because we think it works with your style. The quote pages are selling, stuff like that. And it kind of, I have some pages that are purely illustration, which is crazy because I never thought that I would do anything other than just lettering. But
Hmm.
I try to expand my horizons. I'm always learning. I'm always looking for something like new and fun to do and try to figure out, who I am and what my style is and just natural progression. It was a little bit different figuring out how to draw something like not that I'm going to fill in or do whatever, but the outlines, if that makes sense. Like it has to be detailed, like very detailed, but not too detailed. And then the line, what's the line weight going to be and what's the color going to be? Because I don't want it to be like harsh black. I wanted it to fade a little bit more in the background. So like your coloring stands
Mm.
out, stuff like that. And just, it was learning how to do a new thing, but I really liked the company I did it with. It was really fun. I hope that answered your question.
No, I love it. I'm so excited for this coloring book. I mean, obviously like having a physical thing, like that is something that I feel like in this digital like Instagram, TikTok, like we don't ever really have that much. Especially like
Mhm.
to make a project. Like all the things I do, it's like I paint my nail, film it, and then immediately take it off. Like the like product is like a virtual thing, which is nice with
Yeah.
the coloring book that you can do something creative and have something after.
Right. It almost feels like it's like, oh yeah, I did do something with those like 6 months of my life. And it, you know what I mean? As opposed to if you spend the whole year creating content, sometimes if
Yeah.
you're not making anything physical or like doing your nails, you're like, what did I do?
And same with just like people who are actually coloring the
Mm-hmm.
book. I'm like, I actually want something that's like creative and like visual that I can have after the fact too.
Exactly. And I tried to make it, some pages are more complex and some are not. If you just want to turn your brain off, I looked at a lot of coloring books and like used a lot when I was working on this. And I wanted something that it feels like you're doing something very creative without the pressure of, I've called it blank page paralysis before,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to feeling like you have to do so much to like bring something into this world, as it were, like all the creative work that goes into that. You can just sit in color and have fun along the way and like watch a movie in the background. It's like very low stakes. You can just have a good time.
I'm really excited for you and this coloring book.
It feels exciting to me, and I'm really grateful that you're excited about it because you're someone that's like out of the art niche. I'm like, do
Mm.
people care? So I say like the art niche. You're obviously in the creative community, but And
I'm
I
very
know,
entrenched in the nail specific
yeah,
niche. Yeah.
yeah. So,
No, I think it'll do well. I think
yeah.
like that is the same thing what we said at the beginning. Like it is creative people are creative. Like that is what we like to do. Like it doesn't matter what our medium is. Like we are
Mhm.
gonna find a way to express ourselves and like do something fun. And like coloring is fun. Like I feel like that's literally the like genesis of like creativity, right? Like
Mhm.
here's a coloring book. Like take
Yeah.
crayons and like color on something. Like that is literally I think where a lot of people like find this intro into creative thinking.
Yeah. Exactly.
So,
A lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm not creative," but if you give them something like a coloring book, it's like, here's a place to start. You don't have to
yeah.
start from scratch. You don't have to like do all of that work. Maybe I can't draw a person, because people see me draw, they're like, "Oh, well, I can only draw stick figures," and I'm like, "Same, actually. I can't draw people, but that doesn't mean I can't like do anything in that sphere. I don't do oil painting and crazy stuff. I barely know how to use acrylic paints, but I can still be creative. I can still do stuff and we can still learn things and we can all start from somewhere, do something. Something is better than nothing. If you want to be creative, literally do it."
That is a really good point too of like finding that framework
Mhm,
to start off on, even like in videos, like finding your like framework of like what's the story, like what's the main point,
mhm.
like what am I trying to like sell something, like am I
Yeah.
trying to like show something, like show how to shape your nails,
Mhm,
like finding that framework allows you to be creative. If you're just like, at least for me, if it's just like do
mhm,
anything, it's just like I don't even know what to do, like that's just, but then find like going back and like finding the coloring book and like okay, now I
mhm.
can experiment with like different coloring, or like now finding the like story, I can like experiment with different like shapes and
Exactly. Like what is the why? Why are you filming this video? Why are you shooting this video? Are you trying to make affiliate sales, or you're trying to play with lighting, or you're trying this different technique? I've posted videos where, because sometimes I'll just like go in and try a technique without doing any research and it goes badly,
yeah,
but I still film the video. It's like, I'm gonna make this funny. It's
yeah.
kind of relatable. Like not every nail session goes well, just like every art session doesn't go well. And it can add a window to your personality, like as well, like we were talking about, connecting with people through the screen. It adds another layer to your niche. It's like, okay, you can be like a little bit funny. So do you want to get into more comedy style videos? Like what is the purpose of your video? Like why are you doing this? And I think that remembering that can really inspire you and like bring you back when you're kind of stressed and panicking. You're like, there's so much content, like I don't know what to do. What do you want to do and why?
I think that's also the same, right, for all of your niches. Like you're probably keeping these people like this will be good for this people, but like let's combine this and like had all these audiences, and but then at the end of the day, right, it's just entertaining people. Like basically what we're doing is just entertaining people, even if we're
Right.
teaching them something. Like that at the end of the day, it should just be a fun thing to watch.
Yeah, and if you didn't have fun making the video and you don't want to rewatch the video and it's like not fun for you, then maybe it needs some editing.
I think we covered a lot.
We did. I feel like we bounced around to a lot of things.
I
And
think so, but that's always like I feel like
yeah,
that's what makes it fun, right? This is what happens in my mind.
yeah, exactly. We're not
Like
reading from a script. I know y'all are absolutely shocked right now, but this was all like completely natural conversation. So if you want us to go more in depth in something, what should they do? Should they comment on the YouTube video? Should they
comment,
DM us
have well
on
part
social media?
2, make it a series on YouTube Shorts. We're gonna
Part two, they don't bleep out the industry tea that they spill.
that's for the Patreon. I'm gonna the paywall.
I love that. One more platform to keep up with.
Just because I need it, of course. Okay, well, I'm so happy to talk to you. Please, everyone, follow The Greater Good. We're giving away a coloring book, so leave a review, 5 stars only.
If it's 4 stars, you don't get a colored book. Straight to
Exactly.
jail.
If it's 4 stars, DM me directly. Actually, thanks for some constructive criticism. Thank you. Okay. I love how motivated these episodes make me. Every time I finish talking to somebody, I'm like, okay, I'm going to post YouTube shorts. I'm going to figure out my business expenses. I want to be like Elizabeth when I grow up. So don't forget, we're giving away 2 of her coloring books. See the description for all those details. And Don't just wait for the giveaway. Buy yourself the coloring book. I pre-ordered the coloring book as soon as I saw it on pre-order. And then it was funny, Elizabeth messaged me a few weeks later being like, hey, I'd love to send you my coloring book if you'd want to receive it. And I was like, bitch, I already pre-ordered. But also send me an extra one. Give it away. So, and the quality is really nice. The paper is really nice. The illustrations are perfect, cute and trendy, like you'd expect from Elizabeth. Let's hear some comments. Merrick03 says, I'm watching this as my first Olive Ave order just came in. Yay! Thanks, Walker. Okay, exciting. Did you use code Abe? 10% off. Nail Lacquer Therapy says, loved this episode. Walker has me wanting to open my own brand now. See, I feel like this is what happens after every episode. I like get so into each guest that I'm like, I want to be just like, I want to do what you're doing. And then reality sets in. Color FTW says consistency really is the key. I think so. And I saw some comments worrying about burnout, but of course, find a way to be consistent that's not going to cause burnout, right? Walker was talking about the systems, the routines, batching content, but just don't give up. Keep posting. Never stop posting. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Nail Babe Pod. Make sure you're subscribed, like and save and subscribe and share and heart and and I'll see you next Thursday.